So the coaching notes import is generally used during coaching interviews to collect information from conversations using Excel, using a template file rather than having direct access to TrackEd. So it's not necessary for all of your coaching staff to have direct access to TrackEd in order to collate that information from the interviews. So in order to generate the coaching notes file, we actually just pick a cohort. So I have all of my year 12s here. We then choose this pink export button and then coaching notes template. That gives you a few options, but a single file is a good option here to choose. Export complete. So that's now saved it to my TrackEd docs folder. And if I scroll to the top, that's my coaching notes file. And this is just a list of all of the students that I had in my found set. The next column here is the academic coach. This will populate if you've filled in the coach in TrackEd already, but if you haven't, you can actually assign the coaches using Excel, and when you do the import, it'll ask you if you want to overwrite the coach in TrackEd with the coach that's filled in the Excel file. The next column is referral, so you can fill in a referral if you want to, and then there's a search for that referral in TrackEd. The next two here, so coaching date, next three, coaching notes and internal coaching notes. Those are the three main columns that staff would use for a general coaching conversation. So they might have the TrackEd profile in front of the student, having that discussion around the information that's in TrackEd, but they'll be filling in their information into these columns, so coaching notes and internal notes being the main two. You might like to set wrapping for those so that as they type extra information, it'll expand the rows as needed to fit all that information in. So with these two columns here, coaching notes and internal notes, they actually fill into TrackEd, into the notes box here, and into the internal notes over here. So what it'll actually do is, if there are any notes there already, they'll move down and it'll insert the new notes over the top. So it doesn't replace anything, it'll insert that extra information into TrackEd. So back in the file then, we have a few other columns here. So we've got coaching notes, grid coaching notes, set plan advice, goals, learning plan target, and action plan. With those columns, it'll actually overwrite what's in TrackEd each time you import. So these columns will overwrite, but these two columns, coaching notes and internal coaching notes, those will insert instead. Okay, so once you've filled in the information, you might have multiple files out with multiple coaches. You just save those files, and to do the import, you go to the import page, choose any module, it won't matter which one, choose the coaching notes import, and you can drop in multiple files here and choose import, and it'll go ahead and add those notes into the system. So that's the coaching notes import. That's useful for collecting information from coaching interviews from staff who don't have direct access to TrackEd.